Hopefully everyone was able to see that sign. If you didn't, what it said was, it's okay to not be okay all the time. Especially with everything going on in the world right now, it feels sometimes like we have to put on a happy face all the time that everything's okay. Or if people ask us how we're doing, maybe our instant response, our really quick response is, yeah, I'm great, I'm doing okay. But I just want to remind everybody, it's okay to not be okay all the time. Hi, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Danielle Otteson, and I am the proud founder of Dr. Benefit. And this was just a quick topic I wanted to chat with everyone about today. So first, I kind of want to start with a little bit of a story of something that happened to me a few days ago. So I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine, someone who knows me really well. We talk frequently, once, twice a week, usually pretty long conversations. So she knows my moods on just a regular basis and kind of how I am. And she was saying to me, hey, Danielle, I've been watching your posts, reading your newsletters, and your blogs lately, and you really seem to be hitting home with a lot of things. Obviously, I appreciated hearing that, and I'm here to help people. I'm glad that I was able to even help one of my really good friends. And then she said, how are you keeping it together? How are you maintaining, your happiness and your wellness given everything that's going on, just the complete craziness? And at first I kind of chuckled a little bit and thought in my head, are you serious? How does she think this? Because inside my head, I am a complete wreck right now. And then all of a sudden, a light bulb went off in my head. If a friend of mine who I talk to on a regular basis thinks that I've got it all together right now, then you know what? I've got a pretty big problem. Because I am doing a complete disservice to myself, my family, my friends, my loved ones, and my business community. If I'm putting on this front that everything's great, everything's fine, everything's okay, then that's not okay. I need to be honest with myself and everyone else around me that, you know what? Everything's not perfect right now. And so as my friend and I were talking, she started asking me, well, how do you know that you're not okay? And I broke some things down to her and I said, you know what? I've recognized over the years with myself that I have some pretty significant warning signs of kind of a downward spiral that I start experiencing when my health and my wellness is kind of starting to slip and I'm not doing so great. So I kind of broke some of those things down to her and I said, my number one thing, and this is kind of an enlightening moment for all of you and for you to reflect on yourself a little bit. If you have some maybe warning signs that you're starting to slip, you're letting things go, you're maybe not taking care of yourself as well as you normally do. So here are some of my warning signs that I talked with my friend about. So my first warning sign that I've recognized over the year that I'm kind of starting to go down this downward slope is I stopped drinking water. Now, that might sound a little ridiculous to some people, but drinking at least a gallon of water for me is the complete norm. Whether I'm having a super active day, whether it's cool outside, whether it's 110 degrees outside, it doesn't matter. I am always, always, always drinking water. And when I first start slipping down that unhealthy slope, I stop drinking water or my water substantially decreases. That's my first warning sign. And sometimes I'll catch myself right there and I'm like, all right, something's going on with me. It's time to figure this out. Sometimes, like recently, I keep going. The next thing that I start noticing where I'm not doing so well is I start snacking for really no reason. I'm not hungry. So it's almost kind of a little bit like emotional eating. I'm trying to use food to kind of stuff maybe some of my feelings or what I'm going through, or I'm using food to try to de-stress, which is not something that I normally do when I'm in a really great, healthy place. So that's my second warning sign. If I keep going down that slippery slope, my third one is my workouts and my exercise start to decrease and eventually they start to completely vanish. And that, for anyone that knows anything about me, exercise and physical activity is a huge part of who I am and how I take care of myself. And it just makes me stay more level-headed. It helps keep my anxiety level. And when I stop exercising and working out, that is a huge, huge warning sign for me that I'm, again, kind of starting to slip down that slippery slope of not taking care of myself. The next thing that comes after that is my moods. I start getting really moody. I start snapping a little bit more at people for really no reason. And then after that is my just day-to-day general self-care starts to vanish. Something that's really important to me are using my essential oils every day. Again, it's something that just kind of helps calm me and ground me and definitely helps my anxiety. And for some reason, when I'm starting to go down that slippery slope of of not necessarily being unhealthy, but just not really taking care of my health and my wellness, is I stop using my essential oils on a daily basis, which is something that generally is extremely important to me. Again, it grounds me and it helps my anxiety. The next thing after that is my sleep starts turning just absolutely horrible. As soon as my head hits the pillow at night, I'm out. I just crash. But then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, usually around 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, I just wake up and it's almost like I took 4 or 5 shots of espresso. I'm just completely wired for hours. And then after that, I start noticing that my food intake is either I am overeating, where I'll eat when I'm hungry, but I just keep eating. And I don't pay attention to my full cues, or I'll do the complete opposite and I start depriving myself. I just don't feel hungry, and I know that ties into my moods, my anxiety, starting to just really get really overwhelmed. And then from there, my moods again kind of start getting even worse, a little bit more agitated and irritated and weepy for really no reason at all. From there, I become kind of a non-present person to my family. I'm a little bit more kind of zoned out or checked out. And then I tend to start kind of isolating a little bit and I start to withdraw. So the other day I was talking to my friend about this and she said, well, where do you think you're at on kind of this downward spiral? And I said, I'm probably somewhere in the middle right now where I've stopped really exercising, again, something that's really important to me. And I've started to kind of deprive myself a little bit of food because my anxiety is so high and I'm focused on that, and food just hasn't really become so important, and I'm not sleeping well, and I'm certainly not taking care of my self-care. And so having this conversation was just a huge light bulb going off in my head that I'm not okay right now. I'm not taking great care of myself right now. And it's time for me to start taking better care of myself, because I don't want to keep going down that horrible slope of becoming unhealthy and isolating myself and kind of shutting down. So I'm in the middle, and having this conversation with my friend helped me really recognize this. So now you might be asking, oh, okay, great, Danielle, you recognize kind of where you're at on this downward spiral. What are you gonna do about it? So for me, and I think this is something that's really important for a lot of people, sometimes we want to do all the things. We want to fix everything all at one time. And we just say, okay, well, let's get back to the gym for an hour to an hour and a half a day. I'm gonna get my diet on track. I'm gonna get my self-care taken care of. I'm gonna make sure that, I'm really opening up to people. And it becomes so overwhelming. And we can't stick with it. And when I become overwhelmed, my anxiety increases. And then guess what? I'm gonna end up right back where I'm at. So trying to do all the things all at the same time doesn't work. So for me, what really works for me is when I recognize that, I'm kind of starting to slip and I'm not taking as great care of myself as I know that I can, and doing the things that make me feel amazing, is I have to start with just the small things, going back to the basics, taking care of the little things that aren't going to add more overwhelm, doing the things that I know that are most beneficial to me and my health, but again, aren't going to overwhelm me even more. So the number one thing for me is making sure that I go back to drinking that gallon of water. Water alone, for me, gives me energy. So I know that is gonna make me start feeling so much better. And the great thing with just kind of watching my water intake is it's not overwhelming. It doesn't take extra time out of my day, right? It's just something I can sip on throughout my entire day. That's number one for me. Number two for me is being more mindful when I'm eating. Not just grabbing something because I'm feeling stressed, not just shoving something in my mouth because I'm feeling overwhelmed and I want that overwhelmed or anxious feeling to go away. Being mindful when I'm actually hungry and sitting down to eat a meal, that I stop when I'm full. Or being mindful throughout the day that I need to eat because it gives me energy. It makes me feel better. It improves my moods by just consuming healthy, wholesome foods. And again, that's not something that takes energy to do. It's not something that's time consuming. I'm gonna eat throughout the day anyway. So that's something that's helping me take care of myself and is really important, but it's not gonna contribute to more overwhelm. The next thing for me that is really important is adding back in using my essential oils on a daily basis. That's something that helps kind of, again, keep me grounded, helps my anxiety. That's not something that's time consuming. It takes a matter of 30 seconds a day. So that's not going to contribute to me being more overwhelmed. And then the fourth thing for me to do right now to help get me back in a better kind of wellness space is making sure that I'm intentionally reaching out to people on a daily basis and just kind of talking about where I'm at, how I'm feeling, how they're feeling, and just kind of having that human connection, human interaction with people who I love and I trust. And that can be something as simple as I'm sitting down for dinner with my husband. I'm just talking about where I'm at. So that's something that definitely helps me, and it doesn't lead to more overwhelm. It's not time consuming. It's something I can simply add in to the things I do on a daily basis. So again, for me, when I'm in this space and know that I'm not taking care of myself to the best of my ability, it's just going back to the basics and doing the simple things to take care of myself that aren't going to contribute to more overwhelm. And once I have those things in place and they're working for me, then I add something else. The next thing I generally will start adding is incorporating more exercise, making sure that for at least 30 to 45 minutes a day, I'm really doing something that's gonna help me sweat. I'm gonna get those toxins out of my body. But that for me, I have to wait maybe a week or two, just because adding that in too quickly is going to contribute to even more overwhelm. And again, if I'm overwhelmed, I'm gonna give up and I'm gonna end up back at the same place I was when I started. So it's just adding a few little things at a time rather than trying to do all the things all at once. And once I start doing these small things, the best part is my mood naturally starts to get better because I'm taking better care of myself. So I feel better. I feel happier. I feel more content. My anxiety is not sky high. And then also kind of naturally, my sleep starts to improve. So as I do these conscious things to take care of myself, the other things just kind of naturally start taking care of themselves. So I hope you're able to take away a couple things from what I've said. Maybe reflect on what are some of your warning signs of you not taking the best care of yourself, and what are some simple back to the basic things that you can do for yourself to make yourself feel better. And then just simply recognizing that it's okay to not be okay all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. But reach out to people. Make sure you have your social support to help you, to encourage you, and to get you back feeling better. Hope everyone's having a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.